Making It in Botswana, a TV show that takes you on a behind-the-scenes look at how everyday items are manufactured right here in Botswana. Making It in Botswana, brought to you by Botswana Investment and Trade Center. Go Botswana!
My name is Vincent T. Seretse, and I'm the Minister of Investment, Trade and Industry. One of the organizations under my ministry, Botswana Investment and Trade Center, commonly known as BITC, was established by an Act of Parliament to become an integrated investment and trade promotion authority with an encompassing mandate of investment promotion and attraction, export promotion and development. The role of BITC is predicated on the basis of Botswana Industrial Development Policy and Strategy. Botswana Industrial Development trajectory has over the past 30 years been driven by the need to ensure economic diversification, employment creation, private sector development, as well as spatial distribution of production activity. Today, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the concept from BITC called Making It in Botswana. Making It in Botswana is a local television production that takes a behind-the-scenes look at how local companies manufacture goods, from raw materials to the end products. The television show will showcase the entire production process. Enjoy.
Making It in Botswana, brought to you by Botswana Investment and Trade Center. Go Botswana! Today on Making It in Botswana, we talk bed making with Gabs Bedding. We also take you through the process of making that delicious red sauce, tomato sauce, under the Harvest Haven range with NAPRO. Gabs Bedding is a leading manufacturer and supplier of mattresses, bed sets, lounge suites, and kitchen products located in Pakalane, Gaborone. In this episode, we will be focusing on the process of bed production.
This company has been established, it was established in 2001, 16 years in existence. It's a company that really strives for quality products to ensure that our customers get what their money worth. I believe in the next 5 years, Gabs Bedding would have grown and expanded its markets, especially across borders. Our desire is actually to reach out to the Namibian, Zambian, Zimbabwean markets, and even more so that people here in Botswana can know who Gabs Bedding is. On top of that, we do see ourselves giving a lot of Batswana opportunities, especially those who want to be entrepreneurs, because we sell these products at very good prices, which actually can be bought by individuals who can actually resell and maybe so open furniture stores if they need be.
Sleep makes you feel better, but its importance goes beyond just boosting your mood. Adequate sleep is a key part of a healthy lifestyle and can benefit your heart, weight, mind, and more. We spend roughly a third of our lives asleep, so it's not surprising that your time sleeping can have a big impact on your waking life. Choosing a premium quality bed from skilled manufacturers can improve the quality of your sleep when compared to poor quality beds. Several other mattresses are made here: baby cot mattresses, hospital prescribed beds, and even orthopedic mattresses. Be it low, medium, or high range, it is all made here. Here at Gabs Bedding, there's much more that is done outside of making beds. You know those little sponges that we use to wash our dishes? They are called scours, and they are also made here. Need a bit of a home makeover? Make Gabs Bedding your starting point with their lounge suite range. This is where the magic begins, in the design office. Skilled designers work from ideas and configure various patterns. The patterns are then made into various cutting lists, taking into consideration the various fabrics. The cutting lists then go into production. The designs and orders are received and tracked through the production department to ensure that all work is done on time and according to specification. This is the Gabs Bedding receiving store, from where all the raw material necessary for the production is collected. The material arrives from South Africa as what is called a bale. A bale basically means that the material is extremely compressed for transportation purposes. The material is then debaled with the debaling machine. There are about 12 quantities in one bale. The foam used in the beds comes in the form of foam blocks. Each foam block has its individual weight written across. They all come in different densities. The foam then goes through a horizontal foam cutter. This machine is also programmed according to specification, be it 5mm, 10mm, or even 50mm is cut here. The cutting machine is now cutting 40mm. The foam is then ready to go into the bed production process. The more luxurious the mattress you choose, the denser and heavier the foam. Bed production begins from the quilting department. The material arrives as a basic fabric. The design is loaded onto the machine and high-range fiber and lining is added. The panels are then stitched together according to specification. If you want a 137, double, queen, or even a king-size bed, it gets quilted and cut here. It is now ready to proceed to the next production line. The quilt then goes through a quality control phase. If there are any thread jumps or any irregularities, no matter how minor, the quilt is sent back for correction. Once it passes through quality assurance, it then moves on to the next line of production, being the spring building. This is the spring department. If we remember, the spring will be received on the debaling machine. The springs then go into this machine called a grey pad. It is then joined to a stiffy pad and support is added. After supporting, it then moves on to the next stage where a glue is sprayed and either a foam or stiffy pad is applied according to the customer requirements. The mattress now moves on to the next stage in the production line. This is the tape edging department. This is the border that closes the mattress around. The border is sewn to the specifications of the desired bed size. The border is then snugly fitted onto the mattress. The mattress and its various layers then gets closed with this machine. This is Making It in Botswana. Let's take a short break. Welcome back to Making It in Botswana. It is food for thought that BITC provides support for established businesses who seek to access the global markets. Visit BITC to see what incentives are available and how BITC can help you. The machine starts off sealing the bottom of the mattress, then gets flipped over and the same seal is made for the top of the mattress. Dependent on the client order, the respective label will be placed on the mattress top and the sealing process continues. At all stages of bed production, there are rigorous quality control processes to ensure that a quality grade end product is received. The second part of the bed is the base. Production of the base begins in the timber framing section, where the bed frames are made. The timber is received from the timber shop. This is the timber shop, and this is what is called a CNC machine. The specifications of the frame are programmed onto the computer, and the machine will cut the material according to the specified shape design. The material used here is called chipboard. The material then goes back to the production line. We will now go into base production. Back in the production line, the timber is used in building what is referred to as headers and siders. These headers and siders are all joined together. After joining, a board will be fitted on top to prevent us from falling right through the bed. The product then goes into base covering. The desired color and fabric is laid out onto the cutting machine. Here, as with the mattress, the base cover is made to fit to the exact size of the individual bed. The jacket fabric is then sewn together to form the base jacket. If there is need, the edges of the cover are trimmed to the required fit. All four corners of the jackets are tested to ensure that they are aligned to the 90-degree angle of the base. Each of the four corners is snipped to ensure that in the assembly it fits precisely onto the base. The product then goes into base covering. A base jacket is stapled and then a polyprop is added so no creepy crawlies enter your bed. To protect the corners of the base, a plastic shield is added. For those of us who prefer our beds a bit elevated, 4 legs are plastic wrapped and stapled to the bed. The bed is now sealed in the packaging department by covering with the plastic. It is now ready to go into the store. Right here, in a quaint little town in northern Botswana called Pikwe, lies a company that produces that tangy red sauce that we all enjoy on chips, hot dogs or burgers, called tomato sauce. NAPRO is responsible for producing the delicious sauce that we have come to love from Harvest Haven.
NAPRO is a developmental project funded by the government under Poverty Eradication Unit. Its intended purpose is to create market and stimulate growth in the commercial horticultural farming. We started production in 2016 and we've been running for the past 12 months. We distribute our products to Choppies and Cephalana stores, having loaded over 40 Choppy stores within the country. We currently have employed 31 people in the factory, but when we reach full scale, we will employ at least 39 more. We want to see Harvest Haven having attained the leader in local market within 5 years. And we also have to have introduced at least 2 products into the process line within the same period. A lot of opportunities are available in this sector. These opportunities could be transportation, could be supply of inputs to the farming itself. It could also be support of the factory, because this is the first of its kind in the country. I urge Botswana to buy products made from NAPRO, to buy Harvest Haven. Let Harvest Haven be the household brand within our country, so that we can ensure the growth of this horticultural sector within the country.
Tomato sauce is not the only food item made here. The product range under Harvest Haven includes mixed vegetable pickles, pickled onions, pickled beetroot, tomato onion sauce, and tomato chili sauce. The process of making tomato sauce begins right here in this building. The fresh tomatoes are received from the farmer. Each delivery is lab tested for pesticide residues. If the levels are too high, the farmer is returned with his produce. If the pesticide levels comply, the tomatoes are allowed to pass through to the next stage. After passing the compliance stage, the tomatoes are put on this conveyor belt for final inspection and sorting. Any rotten tomato finds its way back out at this stage. The tomatoes are then passed through the washer with hot water. This is to both soften the tomato and remove any impurities. This is Making It in Botswana. Let's take a short break. Welcome back to Making It in Botswana. Back to production. The conveyor belt then passes the tomatoes onto another conveyor belt, where water is further sprayed onto the tomatoes. This particular conveyor belt contains little holes which serve to reduce the amount of water from the washer. They then arrive at a crusher. The tomatoes are then crushed and pumped into what is called a hot break machine, which heats up the tomato puree to extract the most amount of juice. The enzymes that are still active become denatured at this stage. It works through a steaming system, which utilizes a heat exchange process between the hot steam and the tomato pulp. The pulp then goes through these pipes and through 2 sieves. The first sieve removes any skin and seeds. The second sieve has finer holes which only fine juice will be allowed to pass through. All the residue will be dropped out here and disposed. The refined juice is then collected in a holding tank. When enough volume is reached, which is 500 liters, it then moves to the next station. The initial juice extraction process takes approximately 30 to 45 minutes. After capacity is reached, the juice is then pumped from the holding tank through this line to the evaporator. The evaporator is where the water from the juice is extracted until we get a thick paste or puree. This paste is passed through a double-layered vessel where steam is being pumped in between the layers, heating the product. The water from the product is extracted through vapor. When this happens, the vapor is then pushed through the tank and cooled through a cooling tank, which converts the vapor to water, which is then collected as wastewater. It takes about 2 hours in the evaporation process to reach the optimum solid texture. The solid is constantly monitored until desired specification is reached. A sample is taken through this tap to check optimum texture. Before testing, the product is circulated for 1 or 2 minutes to get the true consistency of the product. On approval, it then gets pumped into a blending tank where the special ingredients that give us that delicious taste are added and mixed. From this stage, it gets pumped straight into a pasteurizer. The product is rotated and brought to the boil. This board will measure the temperature until it maintains a steady temperature at a minimum of 80 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes. It is then considered pasteurized. The product is then pumped into another holding tank. This is a double-layered holding tank to hold the product prior to filling. Good old-fashioned gravity is used here to fill up the mini holding tank to ensure that filling is done accurately. This is a partially manual process. The bottles are washed, collected, and placed under the filling nozzle. The product is extracted through pressing on the stepping plate, allowing the specified quantity into the bottles. The bottles are then manually capped, then moved to the capping machine, which tightens the caps onto the bottles. After the bottle is capped, it then moves onto a coding machine, which will place the best before dates and batch codes onto the bottle. The batch codes are important to be able to trace the material from raw material up until the finished product. At this stage, the product is placed in incubation and samples are taken of each batch. The samples are taken to NAPTEC for lab testing. If the products are given the thumbs up, it then proceeds to the next stage. Back in the production room, the certified bottles then have branded plastic wrap manually placed on the bottlenecks. They then move onto a conveyor belt and through a vacuum seal machine, which will shrink plastic wrap onto the neck of the bottles. This process reaches up to 100 degrees Celsius to completely seal the product. This ensures that the product is indeed tamper-proof. Each bottle is then manually labeled. The final product goes through shrink wrap. The plastic wrapper then shrinks around the product according to supply, sometimes 6, 12 or 25 units per shrink. The product is placed in a box and is on its way to our dining room tables as the condiment tomato sauce. Join us next week where we explore the process of garment making with Dinesh Textiles. We also learn how our very own organic cereal, Bubijwa Mabele, is made from Main Blocks Holdings.